Discover the incredible hidden delights of ancient Egypt's junk food, 7 amazing treats exposed. Lisa always believed there was magic hidden in the dusty attic of her suburban Ohio home. As a single mother juggling 2 jobs and her spirited 8-year-old son, Alex, she seldom had time to explore its secrets or her own dreams. One day, while rummaging through old boxes, her fingers brushed against a weighty tome, an ancient Egyptian cookbook. Its dusty spine creaked open, releasing a sweet, nostalgic scent that filled the attic like the enticing aroma of fresh-baked cookies. What if? Lisa thought, heart racing with the thrill of possibility. With each turn of the fragile pages, she was transported. Exotic recipes danced before her eyes, promising a world where flavors celebrated culture and connection. Her stomach growled as she spotted dishes like spicy lentil fritters and sticky date dumplings, all recreated with the spirit of modern junk food. The idea jolted her out of her all-too-ordinary life. "Let's do it, Alex," she exclaimed, rushing down the stairs, cookbook in hand. Back in her kitchen, the air transformed as ingredients flew about. The scent of spices and fried delights wafted through the open windows, beckoning neighbors as if they were moths drawn to light. Soon, laughter echoed in Lisa's cozy home, where plates overflowed with culinary experiments and stories were shared. This was more than just cooking, it was community, a reunion of faces and flavors, but not everyone was thrilled. Dale, her stern boss at the community center, frowned upon her culinary adventures. "You're wasting time that could help others," he scoffed. His words stung, leaving Lisa feeling torn. The pull of responsibility battled with the spark of joy ignited in her heart. Could she bridge the gap between what the community needed and what fulfilled her? "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue, but just as she found her rhythm, the clouds loomed darker. Local food critic Victoria, known for her biting reviews, wandered into her kitchen one rainy afternoon. Unbeknownst to Lisa, this invitation would unleash a storm. Her heart pounded as she prepared to showcase her unique creations at the neighborhood potluck. When Victoria lambasted Lisa's dishes on social media, calling them failed attempts at cultural appropriation, defeat seeped into her heart like rain on dry earth. Doubt clouded Lisa's mind, threatening to drown out her passion. But Alex, wide-eyed and earnest, pulled her from despair, shaking her back to reality. "Mom, you always say food is love," he urged, reminding her of their bond forged in the kitchen. His encouragement was a soothing balm against her worries. With the potluck around the corner, Lisa had a choice to make. Would she hide away, scared of the criticism, or would she rise, daring to share her creations? Her heart raced, a drumbeat echoing through her. As she picked up the pen to write, "You are invited," she realized that the true essence of food wasn't just flavors, it was connection. And here, she would stand for something greater than herself. As the smell of spices lingered in the air, the question loomed, would she find the courage to bridge divides with her food, and could her journey spark unity amid dissent? The day of the potluck arrived, bursting with warmth and chatter. Lisa's kitchen bustled with excitement, contrasting sharply with her nerves. Plates brimming with vibrant dishes were arranged like a gallery of her passion. Each bite was a little piece of her heart, her triumph over doubt. But as she stood in front of her creations, a tight knot formed in her stomach. What if they don't like it? She muttered, glancing at Alex, who colored fiercely at the kitchen table, oblivious to her fears. "Mom, it's going to be amazing. You said they're going to love it because it's different." Alex chirped, his voice a sweet blend of innocence and optimism. His unwavering encouragement echoed in her mind, nudging her forward. With a deep breath, she scooped up the dishes and set off toward the community center, her heels clicking nervously on the pavement. Excitement buzzed in the air, but her heart drummed a different rhythm. The myriad of faces had the potential for either praise or scorn, each smile could mean acceptance, or worse, indifference. As Lisa entered the center, the scent of her food trekked behind her, weaving through the laughter and chatter of familiar families gathering to share. She spotted Dale across the room, his arms crossed and his gaze pointedly resting on her. Her gut twisted. It was as if he could see her vulnerabilities laid bare in the glorious buffet spread she brought. "Look, Mom. There's Mrs. Thompson and the kids." Alex pointed gleefully, his face lighting up like a firework. "This is going to be fun." "No turning back now," Lisa murmured, flashing him a smile as she placed her dishes on the long table lined with flavors from around the neighborhood: mac and cheese, potato salads, and barbecued delights. As the potluck progressed, the haunting shadows of criticism lingered at the back of her mind. Overhead lights flickered with laughter, but she felt the darkness come creeping in. It was then that Victoria glided into the room, her presence heavy like a storm cloud. Lisa's heart raced, fear gripping her throat. What would she say this time? Victoria moved toward her table, her eyes scanning each dish, fingers resting on her chin in an uncharacteristic thoughtfulness. Gathering courage, Lisa stepped forward. "Hi, Victoria. I hope you find something you like," she said, her voice steady even as her insides quaked. "I wasn't expecting to see Egyptian-inspired food at a potluck," she replied, a hint of sarcasm threaded into her tone. Ignoring the urge to retreat, Lisa took a deep breath. "It's all about bringing flavors together and creating something special, don't you think?" Victoria's brow furrowed slightly, and the seconds ticked like hours. But then the unexpected occurred. One by one, the neighbors drifted toward Lisa's spread, drawn by the aroma and curious to taste. "What is this?" a neighbor asked, eyeing the spicy lentil fritters. "Those are inspired by Egyptian street food," Lisa explained, her heart racing with excitement. As people sampled her dishes, a transformation unfolded. Laughter erupted, smiles broadened, and voices of indulgence chimed in. "This is incredible. I can't believe how good it is." Someone exclaimed, and with it, Lisa felt a surge of hope. Amidst the jubilant chatter, she spotted Victoria lingering at the edge, her expression unreadable. Lisa's heart skipped. Did the critic finally see the love woven into each dish? And just as she absorbed the positive vibes, Dale approached, arms still crossed but a bemused expression softening his features. "Maybe I underestimated your culinary exploration," he admitted begrudgingly, surprising Lisa. With each passing moment, the connection Lisa envisioned was beginning to blossom. But in the midst of joy, a whispered challenge lingered on the edge of her mind. Was this the breakthrough she had yearned for, or was there more to come that could threaten it all? As she swept the room with a hopeful gaze, the question loomed: would this one night lead to lasting unity, or merely a fleeting moment of acceptance? The room buzzed with conversation, the energy palpable as neighbors mingled, plates in hand. Lisa's heart fluttered with mixed emotions, hope and apprehension swirling like a tempest inside. People were gathered around her table, the vibrant colors of her dishes gleaming under the soft lighting. Every laugh and exclamation struck her as a little victory, but just as quickly, doubts began to creep in again. She caught sight of Dale and Victoria whispering to each other a few feet away. In that moment, it felt as if they were analyzing everything, dissecting her every dish. Was that an eye roll from Victoria? The tightness in her chest returned. Just when she thought she was gaining ground, shadows of uncertainty dimmed her spirits. "Mom, can we try the jalapeno-infused stuffed grape leaves?" Alex asked, his wide eyes shining with excitement. It melted her heart, pushing back against the darkness. "Sure, honey," Lisa replied, grateful for his bright presence. As they lifted the leaves, Lisa's confidence surged, even if just a little. Watching Alex take a bite and his face light up was infectious. "This is the best," he shouted, causing heads to turn. Her cheeks flushed with warmth as others gathered closer to see what the fuss was about. "Can I get a taste?" asked Mrs. Thompson, who had brought her signature cherry pie, a neighborhood staple. Lisa nodded eagerly, her smile a mix of pride and hope. She couldn't help but watch the way the crowd began to grow, curiosity drawing them in like moths to a flame. Even Victoria approached, skepticism framed in her posture but softened by something else, perhaps genuine curiosity. "All right, Lisa. What's the secret behind these grape leaves?" she asked, her tone a strange mix of challenge and intrigue. "The jalapenos add an unexpected kick," Lisa explained, her confidence flickering back. "Much like life, sometimes you mix sweet with spicy." Victoria took a sample and chewed thoughtfully, the softened fury shifting to something more contemplative. Bold," she finally admitted, her eyebrows lifting in surprise. Lisa couldn't help but smile, the first real spark of approval. Across the table, laughter rang out as the neighbors shared their enthusiasm, exchanging ideas for future potlucks. "You should do a cooking class," suggested one of them to Lisa. Her heart soared with the idea. Was this gathering merely a one-off, or could this bloom into something more? Yet, just when she was about to revel in her triumph, she noticed Dale's expression change. He was watching her intently, as if grappling with his own conflicting thoughts. She'd faced judgment from him before, and yet this moment felt different. It had an edge to it, a raw honesty that made her stomach churn with anticipation. "Lisa," he began, dropping his arms to his sides, "I never thought I would say this," but his voice was steady, but she saw the hesitation in his eyes. Before he could finish, a loud cheer erupted from a table nearby. "Who wants a dessert vote?" a neighbor shouted, and suddenly the focus shifted, all laughter and excitement charging the air again. Lisa's heart raced. Would he speak now, or let the moment pass? The gathering enthusiasm made her feel lighter, and yet the unfinished business with Dale tugged at her insides. She wanted his approval but feared what it might feel like if she received it. As she turned her attention back to the crowd, excitement building around dessert, she couldn't shake the feeling that something pivotal was hanging in the balance. Would she find a way to connect with Dale? And how might she foster this newfound acceptance among her neighbors? The night was tea over the evening still held secrets in its embrace. With every passed dish and shared smile, Lisa felt the ground shifting beneath her. But would it lead to an even deeper connection or unravel unexpectedly? In the midst of celebration and fleeting moments of triumph, a pivotal decision was looming, and only the night could unveil what came next. The anticipation hung in the air like the scent of her cooking, rich and intoxicating. Lisa watched as the dessert vote unfolded. It felt like her heart was in a countdown to something big. Laughter erupted as neighbors rallied, playfully shouting out their favorites. It was a joyful cacophony, filling every nook of the room, but hers felt like a solo performance on an out-of-tune piano. "Who's bringing the chocolate cake? I want in on this." One voice called out, a blend of eagerness and competition. The enthusiasm spread like wildfire, yet Lisa felt a chill when she caught Dale's eyes once more. He was still watching her, a furrowed brow suggesting he was wrestling with more than just cake preferences. Her stomach flipped as Dale shifted his stance, leaning slightly toward the gathering. Was he building up to something? Was now the moment he would bridge the gap that had widened between them? "Wait. Alex piped up, his tiny form darting through the crowd to stand beside his mother. "You have to try my mom's cookie dough truffles. They are the best." His voice rang with pride and innocence, and in that instant, Lisa felt the tension ease just a tiny bit. "Cookie dough truffles?" a neighbor chimed in, intrigued. "Now, that sounds irresistible." Lisa smiled at her son, her heart buoyed by his naivety. "All right, everyone coming right up," she exclaimed, not allowing her uncertainty to seep through. She moved to the dessert table where the truffles awaited, the rich, creamy texture of their promise brightening her spirit. As she started plating up the treats, her hands shook slightly. The approval she yearned for felt just out of reach. Would they share Alex's enthusiasm? She began passing out the truffles 1, 2, 3, and watched as the first bite was taken by Mrs. Thompson. Silence fell for just a fraction of a second before the older woman's eyes widened in delight. "Oh my goodness!" Mrs. Thompson exclaimed, these are phenomenal. It's like biting into happiness. The crowd rallied again, laughter and chatter igniting around her. Encouraged, Lisa found herself smiling, even laughing at the joy around her. The sweet ball of dough in her hands felt more than just a dessert, it was a bridge to the acceptance she'd been chasing all evening. Voices mingled, securing her place in this softening cocoon of warmth. Dale took a step closer, his gaze still trained on her, but something in his expression was different now. He wore a tentative smile, as if he had just realized something about what he'd been resisting. Did he see her? Did he finally get that she was more than just a neighbor trying to fit in? Lisa, he finally said, breaking through the layers of laughter around them. I have to admit, these really are impressive. There was sincerity there, cutting through the tension like a hot knife through butter. Gratitude and nerves tangled in her chest. Thank you, Dale. That means a lot, she managed, the warmth of his compliment spiraling through her, but just as several voices initiated plans for next month's gathering, a sudden shout broke the revelry. Oh no! The lights! The overhead lights flickered and then dimmed, leaving the room awash in shadows and soft, ambient light from the kitchen that a wave of unease washed over her. What had started as a night of community and connection felt precarious. Would this darkness snuff out the joy they'd fostered? As the room went abuzz with murmurs and quick reassurances, Lisa sensed that the moment had come. Either they would come together, or the night could collapse into confusion. In that murky half-light, Lisa noticed Dale inching closer, his silhouette more defined against the backdrop of whispered chaos. Was he going to take a chance this time, or was that light too dim for him to step forward? With her heart thumping loud in her chest, Lisa steeled herself for whatever was about to unfold. Would this night bring the conversation she had yearned for? Or was the remaining flicker of hope in her heart about to be extinguished? The lights buzzed softly before fading completely, plunging the room into an unsettled hush. All around her, echoes of shuffling feet and murmured reassurances bobbed amidst the dim light, but for Lisa, everything felt heightened. Shadows danced across familiar faces, their features obscured but certainly still present. Dale stepped closer into the soft glow of the kitchen's light. Lisa could barely make out the contours of his face, but she felt the energy radiating from him. It was as if the dark made the air electric, crackling with unexpressed words. Someone bumped into her, jolting her from the moment, but Dale remained steadfast in place, a silent beacon amid the swirling uncertainty. Are you okay? He asked, his voice barely audible but soothing as her heart raced. Lisa took a deep breath. I am, just, a little overwhelmed. The honesty felt liberating, lightening the tension she didn't realize had been weighing her down. Overwhelmed can be good sometimes, he replied, and there was an unmistakable sincerity in his tone. It means something is happening. A tentative smile crept onto his lips, and she could feel warmth creeping into the corners of her heart. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, there might be a potential for real connection. Suddenly, a burst of laughter erupted nearby, pulling more hesitant smiles into the fold. Lisa forced herself to join in, but her focus remained anchored on Dale. In that fleeting moment, everything else faded: the vibrant chatter, the distant tinkling of glass, the smell of baking cookies wafting from the kitchen. It was just them, teetering on the edge of something more, as one of the neighbors attempted to get the lights back on. Yeah, let us hope this doesn't dampen the fun, Dale said, the twinkle in his eye brightening under the flickering shadows. Hey, I can't believe how brave you were with those truffles. Alex is lucky to have such a creative mom. Thanks. Lisa shifted her weight, her usual restraint beginning to dissolve in the warmth of his words. I really just wanted everyone to feel a part of it. It's hard for me to break through sometimes. Dale nodded, his expression suddenly serious. I get that. I think we all do in one way or another. He leaned in, lowering his voice as if sharing a secret. You're not alone in feeling like an outsider. Sometimes I feel it too, you know. Especially with this crowd. Those words hit her square in the chest, reverberating against everything she had buried. You. Yeah. There was something vulnerable in Dale's demeanor that pulled Lisa closer, more in tune with the moment than before. I guess we all wear different masks, trying to find where we fit. But tonight feels different. It feels like everything is possible, without the lights. Lisa's heart soared. What if it really is? She whispered, her voice barely audible. Just then, a crackle filled the air, and with a hum that felt too perfect to be true, the lights flickered back on. A sweeping brightness filled the room, illuminating not just faces but hearts. Conversations picked up again, laughter spilled forth, and the jovial spirit of the gathering swelled within the room. But in that instant, a loud thud echoed through the house, a sound that abruptly stifled the chatter and sent a wave of worry washing over everyone. What was that? Someone shouted, voices trembling with a mix of confusion and concern. Lisa felt Dale's hand graze hers as they instinctively shifted closer together, a silent alliance in this moment of anxiety. As all eyes turned towards the source of the noise, Lisa's heart pounded, the warmth of connection swiftly replaced by uncertainty. Did their evening, so rich with promise, just take a turn toward the troubling? What awaited them just beyond the edges of the comforting glow? The room fell into a silence so thick it seemed to choke the air. Every face turned towards the hallway, seeking the source of the thud that had just disrupted their light-hearted gathering. Lisa's heart raced. The laughter and warmth she had just felt moments ago evaporated like vapor in the night. Is everyone okay? Lisa managed to call out, her voice quivering slightly. She felt Dale's hand tighten around hers, grounding her in the chaos. We should check it out. A voice from the back suggested. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, but fear flickered in their eyes. Dale's presence felt like a stabilizing force next to her. Let us take it slow, he said, his tone soothing. We don't know what it is yet. They lingered at the edge of the kitchen, their fingers still intertwined, drawing strength from each other as everyone else began to shuffle nervously toward the hallway. The shadows once again became a backdrop for anxiety, as they stepped cautiously to investigate. One by one, members of the gathering crept down the hall, trying to peer into the darkness where the sound emanated. A mix of curiosity and dread formed a noxious blend that hung in the air. Maybe it was just something falling. Lisa suggested, her mind racing to dismiss the tension. Or an animal. Dale quipped lightly, but they both knew it was just a facade. The tension was palpable, and the atmosphere hung thick around them. As they navigated through the corridor, the lights cast stark shadows against the walls, warping familiar shapes into something sinister. Lisa could feel her heartbeat echoing in her ears, and with each step forward, her instincts screamed to retreat. Suddenly, a flash caught her eye. A looming dark figure appeared at the end of the hall. Gasps escaped the lips of those nearby, and Lisa felt the urge to flee. But Dale stood firm beside her. Wait, he whispered, releasing her hand just long enough to check the source of light from the phone in his pocket. They moved closer together again as the glow illuminated an overturned chair, a stray backpack lying haphazardly on the floor. It's just clutter, Lisa breathed a sigh of relief, but there was an unease that flickered across Dale's face. Just then, a small voice piped up from the shadows. I'm okay. I just slipped. Alex, Lisa's son, emerged sheepishly from behind a curtain that had swayed on its rods. Relief washed over her, mixed with frustration for not being aware of his antics. Alex! What are you doing? Lisa exclaimed, rushing toward him to pull him back into a reassuring embrace. I thought it'd be funny to scare everyone, he said, and quickly added, I didn't mean for it to scare you, Mom. There was mischief in his eyes, but it was softened by love. As laughter bubbled back to life among the group, Dale put a hand on Lisa's shoulder, the contact igniting a warmth within her. You've got a brave little guy there, he said softly, smiling down at Alex, who was now beaming with pride. In that moment, a spirit of camaraderie returned, lifting the anxiety and allowing laughter to spill freely, but Lisa couldn't shake the lingering shadows that still quietly thrummed beneath the surface. But before they could settle back into their gathering, a loud crash echoed from the patio outside. The cheerful chatter froze once more, and dread burrowed back in. What now? Someone whispered nervously. Lisa exchanged glances with Dale, their eyes wide in unison, fear clashing with the unspoken bond that simmered between them. What was lurking just beyond their candlelit sanctuary? And deep down, Lisa felt the rush of uncertainty. Would the night lead to deeper connections, or would it unveil hidden fears that could tear them apart? The tension in the room was electric. Every heart seemed to beat at the same frantic tempo, suspended in the thick air of dread. Lisa felt her breath hitch in her throat as she looked toward Dale. His calm demeanor anchored her, but the unfamiliar tension was ratcheting up again, tightening its grip. "Do you think we should go outside?" she finally whispered, eyes darting toward the patio door. The crash had not merely interrupted their evening, it now loomed ominously, taunting their disbelief. "I don't know," Dale replied, his voice low, as his brow furrowed with concern. "We should stick together." The group was hesitant, the laughter from a moment ago replaced by palpable uncertainty. People shifted uneasily, exchanging glances that spoke of shared anxiety. Lisa noticed her son standing close to her, his small hand gripping her leg. A moment of protectiveness washed over her, she instinctively knelt down to his level. "Alex, stay close to me, okay?" she whispered. He nodded solemnly, eyes wide. The innocence in his gaze made her heart ache. She hoped her smile could shield him from the uncertainty hanging in the air. One brave soul finally broke the silence. "I think we should at least have a look." A soft murmur of assent followed, with people inching toward the patio door, fear and fascination pulling them simultaneously like a rubber band ready to snap. As they stepped outside, the chilly night air hit them like a shockwave. The scent of wet grass mingled with the lingering warmth of the house. Shadows from the patio lights danced erratically, adding to the horrifying ambience. Lisa's hand gripped the edge of the doorframe, a last bastion of safety as apprehension crawled up her spine. The source of the noise became clearer as they stepped further outside. The wreckage of a table lay scattered across the wooden flooring, the remnants of party supplies tossed in a chaotic mess. "Whoa, what happened here?" someone gasped, eyes wide as they surveyed the damage. "I think the wind knocked it over," suggested another, but the doubt lingered in their voices. If that were true, how was it that everything felt so off? Every instinct in Lisa screamed that this chaos was more than just an accident. Dale moved forward cautiously, peering into the shadowy corners of the sidelines. "It's just wind, right?" he asked, though his voice didn't carry the conviction he intended. Lisa's eyes followed his silhouette, brave and concerned. She saw the way the lights played off his features, creating an almost painful contrast to the trepidation in the atmosphere. He turned back to the group, attempting to dispel their unease. "Just stay together, everyone." But before the words had fully left his mouth, a scuttling sound erupted from the darkness, causing a collective gasp. Sanity momentarily slipped as they all turned to face the source. It was just a raccoon, fidgety and startled, darting for cover behind the potted plants. Laughter erupted, a strained release that came as quickly as it had been stifled. But the laughter didn't last. "What's up with that?" a voice murmured in confusion. The relief tinged with apprehension resettled in Lisa's chest, but something deeper gripped her insides, a sense of looming dread that wasn't banished by a mere animal. "Guys," she said, voice trembling slightly, "there's something. It feels different tonight." A silence followed, thick and weighty. No one wanted to confront the truth that this gathering, once filled with joy, now felt like it had cracked open a door to something lurking just beneath the surface. Just as the laughter began to die down, another crash echoed, this time much closer to the house, accompanied by a faint whisper that rolled through the gathered crowd like a chill. "Did you hear that?" Dale's expression was strained now. What had started as a harmless evening was morphing into something far more complex, and the bonds of their camaraderie were about to be tested in ways they never expected. "There's definitely something out here with us," Lisa breathed, her heart racing anew. And as they stared into the darkness, beyond their lights, they were all left wondering, what else lurked in the shadows, just waiting for the moment to reveal itself. A chill swept through the gathering like a cold hand brushing against skin, and Lisa felt the hair on the back of her neck stand. It was as though the darkness beyond the reach of their patio lights was alive, whispering secrets meant for ears unworthy of discovering them. What was that? Alex's voice trembled, clutching her leg tighter. Just the wind, Lisa reassured him, even as her own heart raced with uncertainty. She glanced at Dale, who was scanning the yard, his brow knitted in deep focus. Shadows stretched and morphed around them, and she could sense the collective anxiety rising within the group. Dale took a few cautious steps forward, peering into the murky depths beyond the patchy light. "Stay close, everyone," he called out, though his voice was strained, daring to mask the growing fear in his gut. His back was turned to Lisa, and for a moment, she marveled at his bravery, even as panic whispered that it might be misplaced. A gust of wind blew, scattering leaves across the patio, and the distant rustling sent waves of unease through the crowd. "Let us go back inside," someone suggested hesitantly. The suggestion fell flat against the anxiety thickening the air, but before anyone could move, another sound broke through. A soft, almost melodic whisper echoed from beyond the shadows. It was so faint, it barely registered, yet it sent a chill down Lisa's spine. She could see glimmers of fear in her friend's eyes, their collective gaze turning toward the unknown. Dale turned back, a flicker of hesitation crossing his features. "Did you hear that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. No laughter echoed this time. Something had shifted in the night, the sweet summer air now tainted by an omen. "Maybe it's just an animal," Lisa began, trying to convince both herself and the others. But her instincts screamed otherwise. After that last crash, she couldn't shake the feeling that something waited, watching. Should they really venture back inside, leaving whoever or whatever was making those noises alone outside? It felt wrong to turn their backs. But to press forward felt equally reckless. The group was teetering on the edge of dread and curiosity, a tightrope that could snap at any moment. Guys Leo, one of the quieter members of their crew, stepped forward, voice breaking through the fear. "What if it's not just the wind? What if it's someone or something deliberately trying to scare us?" His words sank into the atmosphere, making the group shudder slightly, as if a physical force pressed down on them. Silence fell heavily again. Lisa could see the worry in Dale's eyes, and then, making a sudden decision, he took a step toward the edge of the light, pushing the boundary between safety and the ominous darkness. "I'll check it out." "No." A chorus of protests arose, voices trembling with both fear and solidarity. "Someone has to keep watch. I've got to know if there's more going on," he insisted, vulnerability creeping into his tone. Lisa felt the urge to pull him back, but something curled around her heart, a realization that if they didn't confront the dark now, it would only fester. "I'm going with you," she said fiercely, making her choice clear. Alex let go of her hand, the worry etched on his young face, the urgency clawed inside her, surging toward the shadows ahead. As they took steps into the darkness together, behind them the rest of the group watched in an anxious silence. What awaited them in the thick blackness? Would they still return, or had they just crossed an invisible line? In the distance, the whispering sound grew louder, echoing through the night, and Lisa shuddered with a mix of apprehension and intent. They were about to discover just how deep the darkness ran, and the night was far from over. The moment Lisa and Dale stepped into the dark, a sense of urgency gripped her heart. The whispering had transformed into a low hum, wrapping around them like an unseen fog. Dale reached for her hand, their fingers clasping tightly, a small anchor in the vast unknown. "Let us just be quiet," he murmured, glancing back at the others, who stood frozen, looking as though they were about to witness something both terrifying and wondrous. Their faces illuminated briefly by the patio's glow, shadows danced across their features, mirroring the turmoil inside. Lisa squinted ahead, trying to penetrate the thick wall of darkness. Every rustle, every movement felt amplified, making her pulse quicken. Compared to the safety of their patio, here the world felt foreign and predatory. She could hear Dale's breath beside her, steady but strained, each inhale a reminder of the shared risk they had taken. As they moved closer to where the sound seemed to resonate, the whisper changed, becoming clearer, more defined. It wasn't just a disembodied voice, it was a chant, low and melodic, rising and falling like waves against a shore. "What are they saying?" she whispered, though her voice felt frail against the weight of night. Dale halted, looking over his shoulder at her with wide, troubled eyes. "I don't know. It sounds old. Like something from a story." That thought sent a shiver through her body. Old stories were often warnings about things best left undiscovered. But what compelled them forward now wasn't fear alone, it was a pull towards something bigger. The darkness seemed alive, almost playful in teasing their senses. Every step sent a jolt through Lisa's spine, and she felt the warmth of the summer night slip away, replaced by a coolness that seeped into her bones. Beneath her feet, the ground shifted from grass into something coarse and uneven. She reached down, her fingers brushing against broken branches and leaves, edging deeper into the unknown. Suddenly, the hum grew louder and then stopped, plunging them into heavy silence. Lisa and Dale exchanged glances, uncertainty flickering like a candle's flame between them. "Should we turn back?" Dale finally asked, his eyes searching hers for strength. The pull of fear and wonder battled within her, both intensely alive. "No," she said, surprising herself with the firmness in her voice. "We need to find out what is going on." Then, they spotted at the source of the sound. Just a few steps ahead, a flicker of light flared, illuminating the base of an ancient tree that stood gnarled and twisted. The light pulsed softly, like a heartbeat, coaxing them closer. Lisa felt the thrill of discovery and the weight of dread intermingle, her heart racing. "Do you see that?" she whispered again, her voice laced with awe and fear. The light twinkled in a pattern, almost rhythmic. It felt as if the tree was alive, as if it were both welcoming them and challenging them to proceed. At that moment, behind them, a rustling sound interrupted, causing Lisa to turn sharply. The group had gathered at the edge of the light, eyes wide. Leo, Alex, and the others waiting with bated breath. Each person held their own reservations, yet not one seemed ready to turn back now. "What do we do?" Leo called out, his voice a mix of excitement and terror. Dale exchanged a glance with Lisa, his grip tightening on her hand. "We go on together," he said. With that, they took a step forward. But as they did, the pulsing light flickered, and in an instant, it transformed into something unmistakably otherworldly. Lisa gasped, her breath catching in her throat, as the dark began to swirl around them like an ink stain spreading through water. What had they stumbled upon? Would they unlock secrets that should have remained buried, or would they unleash something far beyond their understanding? And just as the ground beneath them quaked, a powerful rumble echoing through the night, Lisa knew their journey into the unknown was only just beginning. The ground shuddered beneath them, a force of nature awakening from slumber. Lisa's pulse quickened. She held on to Dale's hand, feeling the warmth of his grip anchoring her in this tempest of uncertainty. The light pulsed again, and for a brief, breathtaking moment, everything fell into sharp focus. "What is happening?" Leo whispered, eyes wide in disbelief. Their neighbors stared, faces a mix of curiosity and fear reflected in the glow. "I don't know," Lisa breathed. "But we can't turn back now," she insisted, her voice stronger than she felt. It was as if the heartbeat of the ancient tree spoke to them, calling them to come closer, urging them to unveil hidden truths buried long ago. Dale stepped forward, his determination radiating through the air. "Stay close," he said, rallying the others while inching toward the mystical light. "Together, we're stronger." One by one, the group followed, embraced by a mix of dread and exhilaration. As they approached, the pulsing light morphed, revealing images woven into the fabric of the bark, scenes of ancient souls dancing, cooking, sharing meals, and laughter. Their stories came alive, echoing through the winds, swirling around them in a beautiful cacophony that felt like home. Lisa felt a swell of emotion rise in her, the weight of her isolation lifted as connection intertwined through generations. "It's like a lost memory," she murmured. "Something we should all remember, celebrate." Just then, the forest erupted with sound, a harmony of voices chanting. The unison of whispers created a soothing balm, grounding Lisa in fragile strength. She looked around at her neighbors. Alex's eyes shone wide with wonder, while Leo's expression softened with vulnerability. "It's beautiful," Alex said in a hushed tone. The trees, the spirits, the light ignited something deep within each heart present. As the light expanded, it enveloped them, wrapping around their souls like a loving embrace. And then, within that warmth, something shifted. A soft voice broke through, almost tangible, echoing Lisa's own. "This is a gathering of families past and present. A reminder that love woven through food transcends time." The words washed over Lisa like rain, soothing yet invigorating. The worries of the night, the critics, the insecurities, the fear dissolved into the ether of the night's magic. It was a powerful realization that they were all connected, each of them a thread in the community, intertwining in the fabric of shared experiences. "Don't doubt what you hold," the voice whispered. "Your passion marries the past to the present. Embrace it." With newfound courage, Lisa stood taller, her heart sparking with hope. "This is it. We can celebrate our differences through food. It doesn't have to be about judgment, it can be love." Dale's eyes lit up, reflecting the very truth Lisa was discovering. "Let us take this back home. Together. Share, learn, create something beautiful." Their gaze shifted to the crowd of friends, neighbors, and especially Alex, all watching intently, all craving the same sense of belonging. That bond they shared now shimmered brighter than ever, igniting a fire of determination among them. Slowly, the pulsing light dimmed gently, as if satisfied with their resolve. As they stepped back from the ancient tree, something shifted in the atmosphere, the palpable tension transforming into laughter. "Let us recreate these flavors," Lisa announced, beaming with hope. "Each dish can tell a story, connect us with those before us." The group erupted into excited chatter, their fears forgotten, plans swirling around them like colorful confetti. They could see it a community potluck that celebrated not just cuisine, but unity through culture, history, and love. Grateful tears glimmered in Lisa's eyes as she looked at Dale, who nodded in unwavering support. This wasn't merely about daring to bring diverse flavors to the table, it was about building bridges, transcending barriers, and nurturing bonds that would thrive. "And I'll help," Alex chirped, resolve illuminating his youthful face. "I'll create a dish that shows how much I love all of you." As the night fell deeper around them, laughter filled the air, harmonizing with the distant echoes of the past. Lisa marveled at how they transformed shadows and fear into a renewed sense of belonging. Underneath the stars, they returned to the comforting glow of their homes, hearts aligned in purpose and passion. The community spirit had awakened, not just among Lisa and her son, but across generations and neighborhoods. This was their moment, a turning point for an ordinary potluck to evolve into something extraordinarily beautiful. As they made their way back together, Lisa felt the embrace of shared dreams, the gentle reminder of food as love echoing with each step. Everyone could share their flavors, stories that intertwined on plates, to celebrate the magic of unity. They would show that love could be tasted and felt, open invitations to all who dared to taste a piece of their heart, and through the rustic charm of food, Lisa knew her journey came full circle. She would fight for connection, for families to gather, and for communities to flourish with shared memories and laughter, forever in her heart. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, let us spread the love.